Hello and welcome to Butterfly Effect Counseling and Consulting LLC. My name is Tanya Jones Awalusi, and I am going to be talking to you today about vulnerability. That's right. We're going to talk about it. Now, vulnerability, being vulnerable. Hey, before we do that, click like and subscribe. And you know what? A very young child also reminded me that I need to add in click like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that you get notified when I put out a video. Now, I do plan on doing videos every Wednesday. So far, I've been 75%, 80, 50, 60, I don't know. Today we're talking about being vulnerable. I am vulnerable right now, if I'm honest. And what I wanted to share about being vulnerable, I don't know. It's on my heart. It's been on my heart for several weeks. Now, being, being vulnerable. Okay, let's do it. So, number one, why is it so hard for us to be vulnerable? Like, what is it? It's like we don't trust the process. It's almost like it's something that's going to hurt us. You feel like you're going to get hurt if you open up. Well, I'm here to let you know that you might feel hurt, and maybe that's okay. And that's just kind of what you need to feel. But you're not going to be hurt because you're being vulnerable. Now, don't get me wrong. You can open up to the wrong person and they can definitely hurt you. So, who you open up to is extremely important. But the act of opening up physically doesn't hurt you. It's not going to hurt you. And if you are afraid of opening up because you are afraid you're going to get hurt, chances are you're already hurting. So, what stops us? What stops us from being vulnerable? What stops us from saying, I am not okay, and I haven't been okay, and I don't know if I will be okay, and it sucks? Sorry, I'm being dramatic, but come on. Tell me you haven't been there. Tell me you haven't been there. Not okay. Don't know if you're going to be okay. And it sucks. Nobody around you can help you. You can't figure out the answer. There doesn't look like there's going to be hope. Sucks. All right. Being vulnerable. Opening up. Number one, if you don't have a counselor, a therapist, I am all for everybody needs a therapist. I'm telling you. Try it. Just try it. Give it a try. If it's not me, that's fine. I can only help you if you're in New Jersey. If it's not me, that's okay. Find someone, connect to a therapist, give it a try. If you tried it before and like the therapist was like horrible and you had a horrible experience, try again. It's just like putting on shoes. Sometimes the shoe just don't fit. You need a new pair. It's okay. And let me tell you something else. If you're in therapy and it ain't working, you can get out and get someone else. Okay? All right. That's my PSA. Vulnerability, sharing, being open, letting people in, letting people know how you're doing, what you're doing, why you're doing. It's so hard. Why? I think the answer is we walk around with a mask, right? We have to put our best foot forward all the time. Work, school, friends, family. When do we as humans get to just be? That's it. Just be. Be yourself. Be who God designed you to be. So That's one. We're always in a mask. I think sometimes we wear masks so much that we don't even know what's underneath the mask, right? Always got to be on your best behavior. Always got to, be on your cross your T's and dot your I's, right? So, what does being vulnerable look like? It's literally saying to your best friend, right? She's supposed to be your best friend. Literally saying to your bestie, like, I'm struggling. I don't feel well. I can't do this. I'm hurting. So, all right, I'm gonna give this vulnerability thing a try with you guys today. So I have 5,000 topics I can probably think of. I'm gonna pull out maybe two, and it's gonna all come together. One day I was driving, and my car was just like clonking out. Like I don't know, it sounded like it was gurgling mouthwash in the morning, and I'm like, this ain't right. So I find a place where I could go real quick, and they were like, "Yeah, you gotta take it to the dealer because your engine's probably gonna fail." Yeah, sure enough, I get it towed to the dealership, and they say, "Hey, your engine's gone. Good news, you're under 100,000 miles, and perhaps it'll be covered by insurance, not insurance, but by the warranty." And I'm like, "Perhaps?" They're like, "Oh yeah, you gotta like prove that you did your oil changes." And I'm like, "Okay, I got that because I did my oil changes, baby. Yes." So I had to turn in all that. So sure enough, it was approved. But guess what? I was in between, not in between jobs. I don't want to put it out there like that. I'm a businesswoman. I have my own practice. So I was transitioning from full time work to my full time practice. And so money was not flowing. Okay. And even if it was flowing, having a rental car every day costs a lot of money. So I was like, do you have a loaner? I need a loaner. And they were like, yeah, no, sorry, we don't have that. Okay, so what do people do in this circumstance? I don't understand, you know? And so they're like, yeah, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, that's not acceptable. I need a car. Like I got places to be. I have to take my daughter to school, 40-minute commute each way, mind you. So I need a car. And they're like, sorry, there's nothing we could do about that. So I call my insurance. Yeah, no, sorry, you weren't in an accident. Nothing we could do about that. Okay, so there's no loaner. I don't have a car. So I go to I go to rent a car. I'm like, it'll be a couple of days. I go to rent a car, and they're like, sorry, there's no more cars. Like I did it like on the spot. I just did it online. I'm coming to rent a car. They're like, sorry, there's no more cars that you ordered, but we do have a Tesla. I'm like, what? Okay. I'm like, and actually at first I wasn't even excited about this Tesla. My first reaction was like, how much is that going to cost? And then they're like, oh, 15 extra dollars. And I was like, $15? Well, I said I was in between. Okay. And I'm like, all right. And then I got excited. Then I was like, oh, snap, I'm going to drive a Tesla. So I drove a Tesla for 4 days. I'm like, okay, is my car ready? Like, I don't, what's going on? They call and they say, hey, good news, it's approved. Bad news, there's no engines. I'm like, what do you mean there's no engines? Yeah, engines are on back order. We don't know how long it's going to be. Oh, okay, well, now there's a problem because I can't keep renting my Tesla for $100 a day. That ain't gonna work. So what are we gonna do? All right, I need a loaner now. And they're like, yeah, we don't have them still. I'll put your name on the list. Put my name on the list. There's an actual list for this. Fast forward. I randomly start getting back pain. It's not something new. I've had it before, and I guess it was just time to pile it all on, right? I'm getting back pain, and when I say back pain, I mean excruciating, can't sit, can't stand, can't lay, which then leaves you with what option? We're talking about being vulnerable, right? So nothing was working. My back was I couldn't lift my legs. I couldn't stand without being in excruciating pain. I couldn't even sneeze. Talk about how your body is connected. Sneezing was painful. I was hurting. I was hurting bad. And guess what? Because I had this problem in the past, my back brace was in my car. Yeah, the car I didn't have. Okay, so anyway, so here I am, typical American, typical woman, typical mother, typical Black woman. I'm just gonna tough it out. Just gonna tough it out and struggle and be in pain and hurt and just keep it moving, right? Because can't sit, stand, or lay down means keep going. Gonna keep seeing clients. I'm gonna keep telling people how to change their lives. I'm gonna keep telling people how to set boundaries. I'm gonna keep telling people how to do self-care. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on pillows in my car. I'm sitting on pillows in at my desk. I'm laying down in my bed with pillows in between my legs, pillows behind my back, pillows behind my head. Sometimes I wasn't even laying, I was just laying across the bed because it was just easier to be across the bed. That way I could slide off the bed onto the floor in order to get up. Okay. Yeah, that's really living, right? Functioning. All the while, about 2 weeks or so is going by, still nothing about the car, nothing's going on. I'm crying, I'm complaining, I'm sad, I'm vulnerable to anybody that will listen. I'm asking for prayer, I'm praying, I am in pain. I'm hurting, and I don't know how I'm going to do it all. My goodness, I forgot the most amazing piece of this whole story. I'm crying to God. And I'm like, God, I just need, and if I'm being completely honest, which probably shows way more underneath the surface than I want to share with you today. I said, I just need like a rich couple to give me their car and just let me use their car for a little bit. Do you know God provided? I shared what I was going through with some ladies from my church for this moms group that I'm a part of. And in that group, there was a woman who has two small kids and a husband, and they had been practicing for a whole month how to be a one car household. What? Yeah. And the day that I shared what I was struggling with, that's a story right there. The day that I shared what I was struggling with. Within an hour, they were calling me and saying, "Hey, we want you to take our car." What? Take your car? Yeah, we want you to take our car. We know that you're having, some problems and whatnot. So we want you to take our car and we want you to use it until you get your car back. Mind you, the family knows of me. I mean, not gonna lie, I was someone very heavily involved in my church, but they didn't know me. In the community, right? When you say something twice, that means it's really, they didn't know me. They knew of me. They don't know how I drive. They don't know anything about my driving history, record, anything. And they were like, "Yeah, we want you to take our car. We know you need it more than us." So God prepared them in advance for me. They felt it was a blessing to be able to provide for me. So, what I am telling you is when I got vulnerable, opened my mouth, and shared, there was already a solution there for me. It was waiting on me. They had practice having one car in their family for a month before I needed it. That is how good God is. They do want to go on a disclaimer that they are not rich. So it wasn't quite my exact prayer, but it was close. Okay. Fast forward, I'm in back pain. I have to say, and I don't know if they know this, but some of that back pain probably came from the car. The car was lower and it was harder for me to drive it. And I think my anxiety was so high that I'm driving a car that's not mine, that I was also squinching myself up. How many times do we move forward scared? I mean, God blessed me with exactly what I prayed for, but I was scared, scared to have the blessing, scared out of my mind. So here I am. I'm in pain. I'm driving a car that doesn't belong to me. I'm worried about the financial aspect. I'm worried about what if I get in an accident. I'm worried about the tolls. They even pay for my tolls. Dear Jesus. Now you know that's a blessing. Someone's paying for your tolls too. And it was $100. You know it took me $35 to fill up that car. And when you fill it up, you get 480 miles. I was living it. So anyway, I'm digressing. Here I am in pain, struggling. I've reached out, I've said what I had to say. I was blessed, still moving scared, blessed and scared. Blessed and scared. And one day, I just get a random text from my friend like, ding, like, here's my chiropractor. You ever have moments where you're just like, yeah, I've already told you this before, but I guess I'm gonna have to tell you again. Yeah, it was one of those moments. So I booked, go to the chiropractor. I'm like, yes, he is going to save me. And it wasn't like that. He was like, oh, you messed up. Like, this is bad. This is real bad. I couldn't even get onto the table, and he had the table that was standing up, so I'm getting onto the table, but as he's lowering me down, I'm feeling every single bit of the nerve in my back. And he did what he had to do, and dear Lord, that was painful. I was like, why did I come? Why did I do this to myself? Anyway, I come up off that table, and all of this wonderful weight that I am carrying came crashing down on that nerve, and I wanted everything in my soul to punch that doctor. But I didn't. And I left his office and I cried. I cried hard. I cried hard. I said, God, I can't do it. In the middle of this, my husband was going through something and it was not sitting well with me. I'll put it that way without putting my business out. And whatever he was going through, he needed God. He didn't need me. He needed God to help him. And I was trying to help him. And long story short, I couldn't help. And I said to God, I cannot do both. I cannot worry about my marriage and help clients. I cannot worry about my back and help clients. I cannot worry about all the things in my life and help others. I can't do both. Something's got to give. And sure enough, something gave. I wish I could say there was this miraculous healing. There was not. That did not happen. What I can say is I cried so hard that day. I called my friend that recommended me to the doctor and I said, I don't know why you did that. Like I'm in pain. This is hurting. This is not right. So as I'm crying and telling God, I can't do both. I cannot serve your people and be in pain. I can't serve your people and worry about my marriage, my children, my household, my bills. I just can't. I call my friend crying. It's probably the worst cry I've ever done with her. With her. I call my sister crying. As I'm talking to them, I'm realizing I have a need. I went to the doctor. It didn't work. And then I remember God provided me with something that helped, that works. And I needed to go get it. And that was my back brace that was in my car. So I call and I say, I don't know where my car is, but I know you have it. At this point, we're talking over a month now, waiting on an engine. And I cried. Couldn't get through, couldn't get through. I'm going to write a letter about that. Couldn't get through, couldn't get through. Finally got a man who said, "Oh, I'm in sales. Let me transfer you." And I said, "Please don't." And I started crying and I said, "I can't get through." And he said, "Wait right here. I will get somebody." He comes back. He says, "Ma'am, what's your car look like? What car do you have? What's your name? Give me your information. I'm gonna find this car and I'm gonna find the brace." So within 5 minutes, he's calling me back and he's like, "I found it. I got it." And I said, "I'm on my way." I got that back brace. I put that brace on. Whew, it was like heaven. The pain and the pressure that I was feeling on that nerve was lifted. It reminded me. I knew that brace was there, but here I am trying to be superwoman, trying to be superwoman, trying to be superwoman, handling everything. Within 24 hours, my husband was calling me and telling me just all the wonderful things that I wanted to hear. I'll put it that way. He don't let me talk about his business. I didn't even have a hand in that. That was all God, right? Trying to be superwoman, trying to save somebody. The car situation was still what it was. It wasn't changing. I spoke to a manager. He was looking at me like, "Yeah, we don't have a loaner and yeah, we don't have an engine." So I don't know what to tell you. At this point, we're a month, 6 weeks. I don't know. I lost count. I don't even know when it went in. All I know is I didn't have a car. And now I'm telling the lovely, wonderful, not rich couple that, yeah, sorry, I still don't have a car. Right. And so I started making arrangements to take my son's car. And they were like, "Yeah, no, don't do that. Just keep the car. Keep it as long as you need it." So today is that I'm recording this, December 10, 2022. Do you know I got my car, I think Wednesday or Thursday of this week? Out of the blue, they called me. "Oh, your car is ready for pickup." I was like, "What? When did you get the engine? Like, you didn't even tell me you got the engine." And I was like, "All right, I'm coming." You know, I still haven't turned in that couple's car yet. I'll do that tomorrow. But God is a provider. He's a provider. Oh, back pain. I kept going back to the chiropractor, and every time I go, it gets better. Am I completely healed? No, I'm sitting on pillows right now as we speak. Am I in pain like I was on day one when I went to the chiropractor and had my pretty much nervous breakdown, crying to everybody, including the dealership? Did I leave that out? Crying to the dealership. To the point that when I picked up my back brace, he held it up like Lion King held up what was his name? Simba. like, oh, your back hurts. And I was like, because I was hurting. Am I still hurting? Yes. Am I hurting like I was before? No. How does this equal vulnerability? How does this equal vulnerability? I had to open my mouth and ask for help. I had to open my mouth and ask for help. There is no way. And I know it's like, oh, Tanya, it's just a car. Plenty of people don't have a car. Well, where I live, you better have one, okay? And where my daughter goes to school, I need one. And there is no one that's available to take her to school other than me. So it's a need. Okay? Sorry, I don't know why. I just felt like I had to say that. Anyway, the moral of the story is open your mouth and tell people what you need. Tell people what's going on. It is the only way. God tells us to come to Him. When I laid my problems down before Him, that's when He answered. He had the answer the whole time. He prepared 30 days in advance for what I needed. So He is more than aware of what we are going through, how we are feeling, what is going on in our lives. He has planned our lives out. All we have to do is open our mouths. And if that means going to therapy, go. Go to therapy. Talk to someone. Whew. I told y'all I was going to be vulnerable today. And let me tell y'all, side note, I do have a therapist. I do go to therapy. I am okay. I go to my therapist and I talk about my issues and I get through it. Because I know y'all looking at me like, okay, she's crazy. No, no, no. She is very much healthy and very much being vulnerable. And that's what it looks like sometimes. But let me tell you something. If I didn't open my mouth, I wouldn't have figured it out. So if there's anything that I can share with you today, and let me tell you, there are so many other stories as I could come and put down today on this video, but I am choosing to tell you about this one. This is the most recent. There have been times where I open my mouth and God has provided for me over and over and over again. And it's not because I did anything special or because I am somebody special. I am another child of God. I am His child of God. That makes me special. But I am no different than this person and that person. And let me tell you, when God answers your prayers and blesses you, gives you grace and mercy to continue through this life, which can be painful. Dear Lord, I have stories. I have stories. Guess what? I have healing, I have grace, and I have God. And with all of those things, I'm able to go through day by day, and I'm able to help others get that same healing. So that's what I use. I use my journey that I have gone through to heal others. I use God. He speaks to me. Sometimes I have a client in front of me. I don't know how to help them. And I just lift it up. I say, God, show me. And He shows me. Sometimes it's not instant. I wish it was. I wish it was like, okay, do this, do that. It doesn't happen that way. But when it does, I'm blessed and I'm grateful. And when it doesn't, I struggle a little bit, but we always figure it out. We work it out. And so knowing your passion and knowing what God has designed you to do in life is wonderful and amazing and needed. But let me tell you, being vulnerable, opening up to those around you that can help you, those around you that can lift you up, not to everybody, not to everyone. Telling my friend that my back was hurting, that I was in pain, instantly gave me, oh, I know someone. Here's my doctor. He's great. Right? Everybody is not going to be praying for you to do great and amazing things. Find and surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up. If you do not have that, you do not have people around you that are going to lift you up, you need to keep looking. All right. So I'm going into other topics. I wanted to keep this on being vulnerable and opening up. You can do it. You can do it. I thank you for listening today. I know it was long, but you can't tell me it wasn't important. And so, like the wind blows, I just ask that you subscribe, click like, what is it? Click like and subscribe. And apparently, click that notification button too. Please put in the comments, what have you struggled with? Be vulnerable with me. What do you struggle with? What have you struggled with in the past? What's something that you are hoping to gain healing over? I hope that this video has been a blessing to you. I hope that it has allowed you to see that we are all human and you do not have to be a superwoman. From this, my lovely, and you'll get to meet her, lovely sister has made a shirt off of my pain. I want some rights to that shirt. I'll click it at the end so that you can see it. But yeah, you don't have to be a superwoman. You can open up and be vulnerable. And I have more to come. So thank you so much again for listening and see you soon. Um, I will tell you, being on two hands and two knees is the position that works the best. Why? I don't know, but that's what was working for me. And so I think I'm gonna take that part out.